Mediation. How Leonardo DiCaprio settled his wildest legal battles. What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actors, who's outrun wolves, survived shipwrecks, and even wrestled a bear, finds himself tangled not in jungle vines, but in legal red tape? How did Leonardo DiCaprio, the golden boy of cinema and climate activism, end up in a courtroom showdown over hurricane footage? Why was a mysterious man from the Russian Federation, whose name sounds like a keyboard sneezed, trying to hijack Leo's foundation online? And what secrets were whispered over herbal tea and non-disclosure agreements in a quiet mediation room in downtown LA? This isn't just a story about fame. It's a tale of footage, fake names, and the fragile fortress of digital identity. From storm-chasing Floridians to phantom domain squatters, we'll unravel the bizarre, hilarious, and surprisingly educational saga of how Leonardo DiCaprio learned that even good intentions need a legal team. So buckle up, dear viewer, because this isn't just Hollywood, it's Hollywood meets The Hague, and you won't believe how it ends. It was November 11th, 1974, and Los Angeles coughed up another star into its smoggy skyline. Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio entered the world with a name inspired by none other than Leonardo da Vinci. His mother felt him kick for the first time while admiring a Da Vinci painting in Florence. That's right, destiny was already flexing. His father, George DiCaprio, was a counterculture comic book artist whose beard could house a family of sparrows. His mother, Irmelin Indenbirken, was a German-born legal secretary with the resolve of a Berlin prosecutor and the heart of a lioness. They divorced when Leo was just a toddler, not out of bitterness, but because George's bohemian lifestyle clashed with Irmelin's need for stability. Still, they remained a tag team of support, ferrying Leo to auditions, feeding him tofu, and cheering him on like he was the reincarnation of Chaplin. Leo's first brush with performance came at age 5, when he tried to break into the set of Romper Room, a children's show, by charming the crew with impressions of his grandmother, a German woman with a fondness for schnitzel and unsolicited advice. He didn't get the part, but he did get a reputation. By age 10, he was impersonating his teachers with uncanny precision. One day, he stood up in class and mimicked Mr. Jenkins, the math teacher, complete with nasal tone and chalk dust mannerisms. If X equals your GPA, then Y equals your chances of surviving this semester. By 19, Leo had already earned an Oscar nomination for What's Eating Gilbert Grape, 1993. He played Arnie Grape, a mentally disabled teenager with such raw vulnerability that critics wondered if he was acting at all. The truth? He spent weeks studying the behavior of children with developmental challenges, even shadowing caregivers at group homes. His performance was so convincing that Roger Ebert called it a miracle of acting. Then came Titanic in 1997. At 25, Leo became the face of doomed romance, sweaty ship decks, and "I'm the king of the world" memes. The film grossed over $2 billion, and Leo's face was suddenly on every teenage girl's locker and every tabloid's front page. But Leo wasn't content with being a heartthrob. By 40, he had evolved into a climate crusader, founding the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, donating millions to environmental causes, and giving speeches that made oil executives sweat through their suits. It was a humid afternoon in March 2023, the kind of day in Los Angeles when the air feels like it's been microwaved, and even the palm trees look exhausted. Leonardo DiCaprio, Oscar winner, environmental crusader, and part-time Instagram philosopher, was scrolling through climate disaster footage, sipping a turmeric latte, and contemplating the fate of the planet. Then he saw it. A video so raw, so gut-wrenching, it could make Poseidon weep into his trident. Hurricane Dorian, in all its fury, ripping through the Bahamas like a divine tantrum. Without hesitation, Leo posted it to his Instagram, captioning it with a heartfelt plea for climate action. "This is what climate change looks like. We must act now." The post exploded. Millions of views, thousands of shares, celebrities reposted it, activists praised it. The internet bowed. But one man did not. The video belonged to Global Weather Productions, GWP, a small but mighty meteorological media company based in Tampa, Florida. Founded in 2006 by Harold "Stormy" McConnell, GWP was known for capturing nature's tantrums with cinematic flair. Harold was no ordinary weatherman. He was a former storm chaser, a man who once strapped himself to a pickup truck during a Category 4 hurricane just to get the perfect shot. He had a wife named Linda, who ran a local bakery called Eye of the Pie, and two teenage sons, Tyler and Max, who thought their dad was either a hero or completely insane. Harold's character? Gritty, paranoid, obsessed with intellectual property. His weakness? A deep distrust of celebrities. His mistake? Assuming they'd never touch his work. The footage Leo posted? Harold had filmed it dangling from a helicopter, camera in hand, heart pounding like a drum solo. He copyrighted it with the precision of a Swiss banker, time-stamped, watermarked, and registered with the U.S. Copyright Office. So when Harold saw Leo's post, he didn't see advocacy. He saw infringement. "We respect the cause," Harold said in a press release, "but respect doesn't pay licensing fees." Leo's legal team, led by the ever-composed Marissa Klein, a woman whose voice could calm a riot and whose legal briefs were rumored to smell faintly of lavender, responded swiftly. "It's educational," she argued. "It's non-commercial. It's Leo." She invoked fair use, the legal doctrine that allows limited use of copyrighted material for commentary, education, or public interest. But the judge, Hannah Rebecca Langston, a former copyright professor turned federal judge, wasn't buying it. She reviewed the footage. It was used in full, unedited, and without permission. No transformation, no commentary, just reposted raw. Fair use, she ruled, is not a celebrity hall pass. The case was allowed to proceed. Rather than risk a public trial, complete with headlines like Leo versus the Weatherman, both parties agreed to mediation. In a quiet room in downtown Los Angeles, decorated with succulents and the faint scent of eucalyptus, Leo's team and Harold's lawyers sat across from each other. Herbal tea was served. Non-disclosure agreements were signed. Tension hung in the air like a thundercloud. The mediator, Janice Wu, a retired judge with a reputation for settling billion-dollar tech feuds, opened with, "Let's find a solution that doesn't involve TMZ." After hours of negotiation, the terms were agreed upon. Six-figure payout to Global Weather Productions, estimated between $250,000 and $400,000. Public acknowledgement of GWP's ownership, quietly added to Leo's Foundation website. A signed Blu-ray copy of The Revenant, personalized to Harold. Harold reportedly hung it in his office next to a framed cease and desist letter from Kanye West. It was June 2023, and Leonardo DiCaprio, Oscar winner, climate crusader, and part-time domain name vigilante, was reviewing the online presence of his beloved nonprofit, the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, LDF. The foundation had been instrumental in funding reforestation in the Amazon, protecting endangered species, and making oil executives sweat through their tailored suits. But that morning, something was off. His digital team, led by the ever-alert Sasha Patel, discovered a rogue domain, ldcfoundation.org. It looked eerily similar to Leo's official site, but it wasn't theirs. It was parked. No content, no contact info, just a blank page and the quiet hum of mischief. The domain was registered by a man named Vasily HCVSDFJ, allegedly from the Russian Federation. Now, let's be honest. HCVSDFJ sounds less like a surname and more like a cat walked across a keyboard during a vodka-fueled coding session. Vasily, born in Omsk, Siberia, in 1982, was the son of a retired railway engineer and a mother who sold knitted socks on Etsy. He once ran a failed cryptocurrency startup called Bearcoin, which promised to revolutionize forest-based economies. It collapsed after he accidentally deleted the blockchain ledger during a power outage. He had a weakness for celebrity domains, having previously registered BradPittFoundation.net, OprahGreen.org, and MattDamonWater.biz, none of which lasted long. His character? Elusive, opportunistic, a digital squatter with a taste for fame-adjacent URLs. His mistake? Targeting Leonardo DiCaprio, a man who once fought a bear on screen and wasn't about to lose to one online. The domain ldcfoundation.org was parked, but its potential was dangerous. It could be used for phishing, tricking donors into sending money to a fake foundation. It could impersonate Leo's team, sending emails to journalists or activists. Worst of all, it could sell NFTs of Leo's face, minted on the blockchain and captioned, "King of the World." Leo's team knew they had to act fast. The internet doesn't wait, and neither do scammers. Enter the WIPO Arbitration and Mediation Center, the Geneva-based fortress of digital justice. Leo's legal team filed a complaint under the Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy, UDRP, a policy designed to stop cyber squatters in their tracks. The case was assigned to Eduardo Fano, a panelist so sharp his eyebrows were rumored to have settled 3 disputes before lunch, a veteran of over 200 domain disputes, known for his zero-tolerance stance on digital impersonation. Once ruled against a man who registered VaticanBank.org and tried to sell indulgences via PayPal. Fano reviewed the evidence. The domain was confusingly similar. The registrant had no legitimate interest, and the silence from Vasily, deafening. The respondent has defaulted. Fano wrote, "The domain shall be transferred. No courtroom, no drama, no dramatic closing arguments from Leo in a tuxedo, just arbitration. Swift, clean, effective." Leo's foundation reclaimed ldcfoundation.org, secured its digital borders, and added a new clause to its cybersecurity policy. Never underestimate a man with a keyboard and a fake name. As for Vasily, he vanished into the digital mist. Rumor has it he's now trying to register ZendayaClimate.org from a cafe in Minsk. But WIPO is watching, and so is Leo. Leonardo DiCaprio wrestled a bear in The Revenant. Now he wrestles something far more elusive. Copyright trolls and domain squatters. These aren't creatures of the forest. They're digital phantoms, lurking in the shadows of cyberspace, armed with legal loopholes and suspiciously random usernames. In 2023, Leo faced 2 battles, one over stolen footage, the other over a stolen name. Both were resolved not in courtrooms filled with gavels and gasps, but in quiet mediation rooms where herbal tea and confidentiality clauses ruled the day. Leo, in a moment of climate-driven passion, reposted a harrowing video of Hurricane Dorian's destruction. But the footage wasn't his. It belonged to Harold Stormy McConnell, a storm-chasing Floridian with a camera in one hand and a copyright certificate in the other. Harold had filmed the footage while dangling from a helicopter like a caffeinated bat. He copyrighted it with the precision of a Swiss banker and guarded it like it was the last Twinkie in a bunker. Leo's team claimed fair use. The court said, "Nice try." The footage was used in full, unedited, and without permission. The judge, Hunter Rebecca Langston, ruled that the case could proceed. Rather than risk a public trial and headlines like "Leo blows it" in hurricane court, both parties agreed to mediation. Rumor has it, Harold walked away with a 6-figure settlement and a signed Blu-ray of The Revenant. Leo walked away with a lesson. Even good intentions need a license. Meanwhile, in the icy ether of the internet, Leo's foundation discovered a rogue domain, ldcfoundation.org. It was registered by a man named Vasily HCVLSDFJ, allegedly from the Russian Federation. Now let's be honest, HCVLSDHFJ sounds less like a surname and more like a keyboard had a seizure. Vasily was a digital squatter with a history of failed crypto ventures and a taste for celebrity domains. The domain was parked, unused, but dangerously similar to Leo's official site. It could be used for phishing, impersonation, or worse, selling NFTs of Leo's face captioned "King of the Blockchain." Leo's team filed a complaint with the WIPO Arbitration and Mediation Center, invoking the UDRP. The panel was chaired by Eduardo Fano, a man whose eyebrows alone could settle disputes. Vasily never responded. Not a word, not a typo, silence. "The respondent has defaulted," Fano wrote. "The domain shall be transferred." And just like that, Leo reclaimed his digital territory. No courtroom, no drama. Just arbitration and a swift victory. These 2 cases reveal a truth that every modern celebrity must learn. Fame doesn't exempt you from the law. Leo's mistakes weren't malicious. They were born of passion, urgency, and a dash of digital naivete. Good intentions aren't enough. Even climate advocacy must respect intellectual property. Mediation beats litigation. It's faster, quieter, and doesn't end with your name trending under copyright clown. Digital identity is fragile. One rogue domain can undo years of branding. Silence is not a defense. Vasily's ghostly absence sealed his fate. Leo regrets the oversight, but he doesn't wallow. He adapts, he learns, he mediates. And as Harold McConnell once said, sipping his storm chaser coffee, even Leo's got to pay for the weather. Leonardo DiCaprio's journey from child actor to Oscar winner to legal defendant is a tale of ambition, artistry, and accountability. He's not perfect. None of the greats are. But he's evolving in real time, learning that in the digital age, your reputation is only as strong as your copyright compliance. If you enjoyed this forensic dive into fame, legal finesse, and the strange lawsuits that shape our world, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Next up, Cate Blanchett. Born in 1969, she's won 2 Oscars, conquered stages from Sydney to Broadway, and once played Queen Elizabeth with such conviction that Buckingham Palace sent flowers. You won't want to miss it.